Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the British Tier 8 Premium Medium Tank, the Bellerophon Centurion Mk 5.1 RAAC. If you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Bellerophon. It is one of the Halloween tanks that you'll be able to earn in this year's Monster Hunter Earn Up. Like I say, I did cover a little bit about it on the video concerning the actual Earn Up itself. If you want to go check out all the other tanks in one go, check out that video and what you have to do for the Earn Up. And remember, if you're going to pick a tank from that Earn Up, you'll only get the chance to pick one, and if you pick one, it'll completely end the op, like normal. So just bear in mind that you're going to have to finish the op before you pick up the vehicle. And yes, the Bellerophon, it is a pretty damn solid tank. It's a tank that, to be perfectly honest, I find kind of boring. And to be honest, that goes for quite a few of the Centurions, the standard 20-pounder Centurions, that is, like the Huntsman, like the Bellerophon, the standard Centurion Mark 1, the other Centurion Mark 5.1, which is the same as this tank, except for it doesn't have spaced armour all over it, from the hoplitey turret, or like the FV4202P as well, the Atomic. Oh, the Atomic is not too bad because the reload is mental on it, but yeah, generally, like, I just find them a little bit boring because their playstyle is similar to a Conqueror, or Super Conqueror, for example, or like the Valor, where you go to a position where you are very good hull down, with your 10 degrees of gun depression, you will bounce many shots off your turret front because your turret is very good, and then you just work them over with your pretty good DPM that you have on the Bellerophon. It's a pretty simple gameplay. It's a pretty simple gameplay to get right. If you don't know what I'm talking about by hull down, I mean where you go to a ridgeline, use the gun depression of a vehicle, and all that the enemy tank can see of your vehicle is your turret. They cannot see your hull, and that means you're hull down, and that means that there's very little of your tank that they can actually shoot, and especially if you have very good turret, it means you can be invulnerable in quite a few situations. And the Bellerophon is one of those that can be good for that, because this 20-pounder is a fantastic gun. Okay? It is a fantastic gun. It's got pretty good penetration, it's got a good rate of fire, it's got great accuracy, base accuracy that is. The mobility on the Centurion 5.1 or the Bellerophon is pretty average for a medium tank at 50 kilometers an hour, just like a lot of the other Centurions. You got a fantastic turret armor, like I say. The 5.1 or the Bellerophon both have that extra upper plate armor, which can be pretty handy. And by that, they basically have a 120mm upper plate, which is way better than some of the other Centurions, because most of the other Centurions have an upper plate of 76mm of thickness, which is really quite poor, which means they're very easy to pen. The 120mm of upper plate armor that the 5.1 has makes sure that you can actually ricochet quite a lot of surprising rounds off your upper plate, especially at angles like this, or it makes it more impervious to rounds, especially when you overexpose a little bit of your upper plate armor when you are hull down, which can be quite nice for the Bellerophon. The tank with the 20-pounder does have 226 penetration on the standard AP, with 258 penetration on the premium APCR, with 230 damage, which is really pretty okay. You'll pen most tanks you're going to face with that. Only really the super heavily armoured tier 10s that you might struggle with. You got 1,020 meters a second shell velocity on the standard AP, which is fairly average, with 1,275 meters a second shell velocity on the premium APCR, which is pretty nice. You got 0.27 accuracy with the build that I run, which is fantastic. 1.98 accuracy during movement, and 0.95 accuracy during rotation, which is not that great with the build that we run as well. That means the gun will bloom out a decent amount, and it just can be a bit of pain really for the Bellerophon, that you have to run the gun stabilizer to make sure that this gun can be alright. And you've got 2.12 second aim time, which means you will feel the aim time. Like I said, that 10 degrees of gun depression is fantastic on this vehicle, and with a 5.47 second reload, which is 2.5k DPM, that's pretty average for a tier 8 medium tank, and you can just consistently pump out rounds while staying hull down, not taking too many hits, and you can just have a pretty good time with the Bellerophon. Like I say, it's an absolutely solid pick from the Monster Hunter Earn Up. This Centurion is one of the best Centurions out there. It is really good. It's just a little bit boring to me, but that's my preference, right? It does have 150% silver bonus as well, which means you will make a decent amount of silver, but it is on the lower end of silver earners in terms of their percentages, so just bear that in mind. Like I say, you do have that 50km/h top speed, which is fairly average. With an 18.2 total horsepower per ton ratio, you will hit that top speed fairly easily, and you will get there. You've also got 512 metres of view range with the build that I run, which means you can spot for yourself very, very well. You can get a good amount of assistance, just like you've seen in this game. And yes, that first game ended with the epic victory. 4 kills, 3.9 thousand damage, 2.3k assistance, the 6k combined ace tank of the high caliber, with that 2093 basic speed. A really nice game there for the Bellerophon. But yeah, with the 512 metres of view range, you can spot for yourself and get a good amount of assistance, just like you saw in that game. And with 355 metres of view range, 355 metres of still concealment with the build that we've got, it's not very good in terms of concealment, which is why I help it out just a little bit with the crew, just so that I can try and stay on spot a little bit more when I'm using some of the bush locations, like the mid-ridge on Westfield, for example. So what am I running in terms of a crew and equipment on the old Bellerophon? Well, I am running a pretty standard medium tank crew. I'm running Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Track Mechanic, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Camouflage Expertise, with the Advanced Loader, the Gun Stabilizer, and Optics. Optics to be able to spot for myself and get that 512 metres of view range. Gun Stabilizer to get the accuracy during movement and rotation as low as possible, so I'm not having to feel that 2.12 second aim time that we've got it down to all that much. All 3 gun perks, again, to help this gun out as much as humanly possible, so we can get that accuracy during movement rotation down as low as possible, with the accuracy at 100 metres as well. And the Camouflage Expertise, which is probably a bit superfluous, to be honest, just to knock the camo down to that 355. But because this tank has poor camo, you could quite easily drop the Camouflage Expertise and run something like Deadeye for the memes to damage crew modules, but I wouldn't recommend that. I'd probably take Rapid Aim, maybe, to make the turret traverse better, because it is 36.92 degrees a second, which is fairly quick, and it is quicker than the hull rotation, but you might want to do that. Also, the hull rotation is a little bit slow at 30 degrees, or does feel a little bit slow at times at 30 degrees a second, so instead of Rapid Aim, you might want to take clutch braking to make it turn a bit quicker, because it can be a bit sluggish at times with that track traverse. Again, down to you and how you want to play the tank. It's down to how you feel comfortable with it at the end of the day. So this second replay, we are on Vineyards? Yeah, we'll go with it. We're on Vineyards, and we are at the position at K5. We have come to this position because you've just seen what we did to the opposition Bellerophon, where he was out in the open and we were hull down. All he could see was our turret, but we could see his tracks and his hull, and we basically farmed the poor guy to death. This position here at J5 is great because we can get shots at people like this SMV CC67, but we can also get shots at the people across the 4 line as the light tanks are yellowing across the open. And we're just farming away at the SMV CC67 right now. We've got the APCR loader because we were trying to shoot at the Gorinich KV5 a second ago, but it is going to come in clutch for shooting this SMV, because the SMV can be a very troll tank to shoot at with 226 penetration, whereas the 258 penetration APCR rounds will have a bit more of a good time going through the armor of this guy. Even the side spots we struggle with a little bit with the APCR. The SMV, sadly, for him, gave up. He went, oh, I give up. All right, just end my day. And he got shut down by the other SMV CC67. APCR still loaded because we're going to struggle with the Gorinich a little bit at times. But the Gorinich fires, and I decide, okay, I'm going to get a shot into him on the move as we cross. But I want to get to the little ridge line in front of us next to that rockery in front of us. Get to a position where I can shoot the Gorinich in the side. And that way we'll have a bit of a better time. So it's like, hello, Mr. Gorinich, RBRT through the destructible cover. And this is exactly where we want to be again. This is where the Bellerophon, wants to be. HullDown. He will only see our turret if we come over, so we put a shot into the side of the Gorinich there. Will we get another shot in before he gets down? Yes, we will. Putting him down to a one-shot. Just waiting on the reload now to finish him off, since we have his whole side. And thankfully, the shot goes through and shuts him down. Like I said, this gun is wholly very reliable. It is a very nice gun, and most of the time, except for when I was just saying it was really reliable, it will hit all of its shots. Because if you aim the shots, the .27 accuracy this tank has is fantastic. And I say it is Mr. Consistency in terms of pushing out the damage, because it just can keep firing and firing and firing. And when you put it in these good positions like this, where you've got a free fire going, that's where the Bellerophon wants to be, especially when, like I say, you are hull down. So the enemy team has 5 tanks left. They've got the P-43 turret in front of us there, an STG, the TNH 105 1000, the TD that I've not quite seen what it is in the distance. They've got a light tank and another medium tank, which I'm expecting are probably about A5 or A6. In fact, one just gets spotted there. In fact, it's a Canonian Jagdpanzer 105, which should be fairly easy to be able to pen if we get shots at it. So he's pulled back behind the ridgeline at B1, B2, so I can't really get any shots at him. So instead we're going to go put pressure on the P43 Tur and the other medium Tur. Oh, the SDG just gets shut down. We're going after the Tur to go get rid of him. The light tank, the Lynx, is crossing the open, so I'm thinking, okay, can I get a shot at this Lynx if he drives out? We wait for him to drive round the rock, put a shot through the Lynx, putting him down to a one-shot, and we're just going to go see if we can get rid of the wheelie boy. And I think, you know what, I could probably ram the Canonian Jagdpanzer 105 and kill the Lynx, but the Lynx gets shut down and ramming speed straight into that Canonian Jagdpanzer 105 with the Bellerophon. And we're finished with 5 kills, 4,002 damage, 1,627 assistance. The ace tanker, the sniper, the high caliber. Really great game there with 2006 base XP for the Bellerophon on Vineyards. And we always love a good ram round here. Ramming is great. We're on to the third and final replay of this video, and we are in a pretty poor matchup. This is a very tier 10 matchup here on Muravanka, and we are going to go to the Magic Forest. We like the Magic Forest. The Magic Forest is a good place to go with your HullDown medium tanks. It's a good place to go with your tanks that are pretty good in general at HullDown, because you can work the different angles in different places and then go and wrap around the cap area of their team and get behind them. The thing is, a lot of teams just don't seem to go here that often. You tend to find that everyone just goes and brawls on the corner at E2, and then you end up coming here with 2 or 3 people and find that at least 6 of their 7, maybe even 8 of their team are here and go, oh boy, we're outnumbered, we're going to die. And spoilers, it kind of is going to work out like that a little bit. So we've got the E5 in front of us, and again, this tank, HullDown, loves a good HullDown. Unfortunately, we misread where that, well, not to say misread, that MX-30 catches us out. I didn't realise he was there, but the E5 is tracked in place. So it's like, okay then, we put a shot through the drive wheel there of the E5, and I know I'm safe from this guy. He won't be able to pen my turret in this situation, just being careful of the object 140, but if we can keep the shots flowing into his drive wheel and keeping him pinned, that'd be great. He does actually repair though. The 1390 comes over, we try and get a shot into the side of the 1390, and I realise, oh boy, that MX-30 is not in a good place. Oh boy, there's 5 people here, and there's only me and the 780 who's not got much health, and they're all very healthy. You know, brave Sir Robin ran away. The best thing to do right here is, okay, we need to go, because we're not going to survive this. If they all YOLO, we're not surviving this engagement. And just as we decide to go, clearly they all decide to come over and charge. If they've got anything, this is the thing, because we don't know where things are. If they've got anything, and then there's a full health 780 as well. If anything is camping back at JK8, we cannot go round the corner at DE8 and get safe from where those guys were YOLOing round at us, which meant that we would have got farmed if we went that way. And because we didn't know if there was anything that way, there is no point sitting there. We just know that we're going to die and we're going to lose a gun out of this game. The poor 780 that was with me gets absolutely ganked by all of the tanks that came around that corner. But again, like, what's the point in staying there and dying with him? I knew I had the mobility to get away. I realised we were doomed in that situation. So we got out, kept our gun in the game, and that way we can try and salvage this game or win this game. You know, not even salvage. We're in a good position. Well, fairly decent position at this moment in time. So it's what you want to be doing, because if you just sat there and went, oh, what's the team doing? Why is no one here? Oh, we're outnumbered. I'm just going to sit here and die. By the way, I'm sorry, my driving is terrible. I tapped the Waffle Panzer 4, and yeah, he wasn't very pleased about it. But yeah, there's no point staying in that flank and dying, because at that point, we'd just be sitting there moaning, going, oh, what's the team doing? And if you do that too often, you'll end up going on a streak of losses where you probably actually could have done something. And this game is a testament to that, where you could have done something, where you put yourselves in a better position, get yourselves into a better, safe position to be able to cut off an enemy flanking attack, and therefore you can win a flank just by doing that one reposition. So we managed to catch out that MX-1390. That was a lovely little shot that ends up finishing him off. The 780 can still see us. We got the APCR loaded because, well, we're not really going to struggle. We're going to struggle to pen an Object 780 if we don't fire premium, and we're just keeping firing. And this is where you can really feel that shell velocity difference when you fire the APCR on this tank compared to the AP. It is very, very nice, the APCR velocity. But the 780 gets unspotted. And the 780 gets some spotters, so I pulled back to a safer position on the ridgeline because I was a little bit too exposed. And especially if the 780 pulls up to A5, A4 without getting spotted, he would have shots at me and I wouldn't be safe. So we're just looking for a shot at the 780. I see maybe the drive wheel. Sadly, I didn't pen that, and actually I could have shot the side of his turret. He starts moving, though, after he repaired his tracks, and the Waffle Panzer IV finishes him off. I'm expecting an E5 to arrive somewhere from over there, or something else at least, but we get spotted, and something starts to detect us, and they fire at that ridgeline directly in front of us, which means there was something still over there. But behind us is starting to fall. The people that were all in the corner at E2 have all gone in, and their team are starting to encircle them. So we've got to get across again straight away as quickly as possible and start putting shots in where they count so we can whittle these guys down. The E5's a one-shot, so we're going to get in and try and shut him down. But in fact, the CGC shuts down the E5, which is great. That's a tier 10 gun out of the game. And we're going to go round and try and cut off this Contracaro Mark II, if we can, from coming round the corner on the 121. But we're also going to look for the Waffle E100 as well, because if we can get shots into the Waffle E100 to get rid of him, that's glorious. The 140 gets shut down by the Waffle Panzer IV. The Waffle E100 pulls round the corner, gives us a free shot. So we get one shot into him, looking for a second shot in the turret, but we're being mindful. We know, we see on the map, that Contracaro Mark II is coming after us. So we're going to pull back as quickly as possible. Thankfully, he can't quite get a shot at us. He ricochets or bounces off our turret front, and he's in a very bad place for himself. We should have tracked his drive wheel there, because we could have tracked and penned him. In fact, we're going for it this time. We track and pen the Contracaro Mark II, which puts him in a very vulnerable position. In fact, he just doesn't pull back. And we finish off the Contracaro. We're going to go around the corner now to find the Waffle E100 because he's a two-shot for us. And once again, I know I can bounce the Waffle E100 off the front of my turret because the Bellerophon's turret is so good. And good night, Mr. Waffle E100. Just like that. Game secured. One tank left on the enemy team. It is the GWE, Mr. GWE100. We're up to 4,069 damage with 1,242 assistance. 5.2k combined in a tier 10 game. We're having a fantastic game with the one vehicle that is left. So it's like, okay, where's the GWE then? The GWE fires, it's like, okay, I know exactly where the GWE is now. And we've got to be a bit careful, though, going after the GWE. Because naturally, he might just shotgun us, and we don't want that. Or if we get spotted, he might just fire at us and hit us, and he might just splash us to death. So we've got to be careful. So the GWE gets spotted, and we're just going to start putting shots in while manoeuvring to keep us as close to this building, so that if he does spot us, it's going to make it as difficult as possible for him to get the shot off. We left him on 1 HP in a dream. It couldn't have just rolled a little bit high to give us the kill, could it? No, of course not. And the CGC shuts him down. And we finished with the victory. 3 kills, 4.5k damage, 1,200 assistance, 2.3k blocked. Ace Tanker, the sniper, with 2.2k base XP. A very, very nice game there for the Bellerophon Centurion Mk 5.1 RAAC in a tier 10 lobby. And yeah, like I say, it's a really damn solid tank. It is very, very good at what it does. HullDown is its nature. It's its calling. It's what it does. It's just a little bit boring for me, to be honest. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next time.
A great success.